Okay, on to Premier League predictions for match week 4. Now, if you want to play along, I'll put all the fixtures in the show notes below, and you can copy and paste those into the comments with your predictions. If you get the correct result with the right score, it's 5 points. And if you get the correct result, win, draw, loss, but the wrong score, then it's 2 points. Just pop yours in the comments for next week, and then we'll obviously give a shout out to anyone that comes top. Now, if you want to keep up to date with videos like this on the Premier League, also match analysis, player profiles, transfer news in the transfer windows, click the red subscribe button below, click the bell notification, and you'll be kept up to date of all future uploads. Now, before we get on to match week 4 predictions, we'll just have a look back at match week 3 and see who the winners were. I did absolutely disastrously. I got 9 points. So there were a few people below me, but there was far too many people above me. So I got absolutely thrashed. But a quick shout out and mention to Guest, who got 14 points. He was he or she was in second place. Got 4 correct results, of which 2 of them the correct score. So well done to Guest. And this week's winner, 2 weeks in a row. Well done to Joshua Wiggan, 18 points, doubled my tally, so absolutely thrashed me. He got 6 out of 10 correct results. Now, I must mention, he was too late for the first match, so he actually only made predictions on 9 matches and got 6 correct. 18 points, he got two matches, the Sheffield v Leicester and the Wolves v Burnley, with the correct score as well. So well done, Joshua Wiggan. If you do know the lottery numbers for this next week, just send me a quick email, and I'll pay you a percentage of any winnings. It was quite an unusual week last week. I think there was about 7 away wins, and I very much went for the home wins and draws, and I am doing again this week actually. So didn't learn from a lesson. So on to match week 4 predictions. So we'll start with the first match, and that's Southampton versus Man United. It's a Saturday 12:30 kickoff. And it's on BT Sport. Now, Southampton have not won any of the last 6 matches between these two. They come off the back of a 2-0 away win at Brighton, so good result there. Man United, they've had a mixed start. They had that shock home 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace. I'm actually going to heap more misery on Man United. Sorry, any Man United fans out there. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Southampton win. I think it'll go for the home side here. So first match, Southampton 2, Man United 1. Okay, on to the next match, and that's Chelsea versus Sheffield United. It's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. Now, Sheffield lost 2-1 at home to Leicester, but they're still sat in 9th place in the league. Chelsea got that first away win, so their confidence will be high. They won 3-2 at Norwich. Chelsea, though, they've leaked 7 goals in 3 matches, so I thought their problem would be scoring this season, but it's the other end. They seem to be conceding too many. 7 goals in 3 matches isn't brilliant, but I think Frank Lampard will sort that out as the season progresses. I expect Sheffield to sit back, defend deep, and try and get a draw, a point, or something from this. But I do think Chelsea, off the back of that win, they'll have the confidence. I think they'll be too strong. I'm going to go for a Chelsea 2-0 home win. So that's Chelsea 2, Sheffield United 0. Okay, on to the next match, and that's Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. It's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. Now, Crystal Palace got that first win, 2-1 away to Man United. Shock win. I don't think anybody expected that. Certainly the Man United crowd didn't in the stadium. They've only scored 2 goals so far in their first 3 matches, and they were those 2 goals at Man United. They've also only conceded 2, so they're pretty tight at the back as well. Aston Villa also got their first win, so their confidence will be high. They got a 2-0 home win to Everton. They'll be riding high off the back of that. I think this one's going to be a stalemate. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. So Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 1, 1-1 draw. Okay, on to the next match, and that's Leicester versus Bournemouth. This one's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. Now Leicester quietly moved up to fourth in the league with that 2-1 win away at Sheffield. Leicester, they've only conceded 2 goals so far this season, so they're not missing Harry Maguire, are they? I think they're going to have a good season. Last season, Bournemouth won 4-0 at home. 4-2 at home, and they lost 2-0 away. I think Leicester have hit their stride a little bit quicker than Bournemouth. I think Brendan Rodgers I think he's on for a good season there. I'm going to go for a Leicester 2-0 home win. So that's Leicester 2, Bournemouth 0. Okay, on to the next match, and that's Man City V Brighton. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Now Brighton, after such a great start to the season, after a terrible end to last year, they lost 2-0 at home to Southampton, and I think that's one they would have expected to win after their start. So all isn't quite as we thought. We had high hopes for them having a better run this year, but to lose 2-0 at home to Southampton isn't brilliant. Man City have won their last 5 against Brighton, so that looks ominous. I expect Brighton again to defend deep. I think in the 1-0 defeat last year, they defended deep, got bodies behind, and they'll try and frustrate Man City. But Man City, they've just got too much firepower. I think they're just too strong. They seem to be firing all cylinders. I'm going to go for a Man City 3-0 home win. So Man City 3, Brighton 0. Okay, on to the next match, and that's Newcastle V Watford, and that's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. Now Newcastle finally got something to smile about with that 1-0 away win at Tottenham. And it has to be said, I mean, Tottenham got all the criticism in that match for not breaking them down, but it has to be said, Steve Bruce set them up very, very well defensively. When they lost the ball, they got bodies behind, and they had those rows. They dropped 5 into the back line, and they defended really well. Watford, they're the only team in the Premier League that have lost all 3 matches. And another ominous stat is they've conceded 7 goals and they've only scored the 1 so far. So it's not looking good for Watford. I'm going to put a smile on the Newcastle fans' face, hopefully. I'm going to go for a Newcastle home win. I'm going to go Newcastle 2, Watford 1 on that one. Okay, on to the next match, and that's West Ham versus Norwich. This is a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff again. Now, West Ham got their first win, 3-1 away at Watford. Just talked about Watford. West Ham, though, are conceding goals. They've conceded 7 so far. Now, Norwich, I've only seen their first game at Liverpool, but they're doing third best for scoring goals with 6 so far. So they're quite entertaining going forward. They're not playing it tight, but they're suffering because they're the worst in the Premier League for conceding with 8 so far. I expect lots of goals in this one. I expect a 2-2 all draw for this one. So I'm going for West Ham 2, Norwich 2. I think it'll be a highly entertaining match for any non-West Ham and Norwich supporters. I'm probably frustrating for the supporters, but I think it'll be highly entertaining. Okay, on to the next match, and that one is Burnley v Liverpool. It's a Saturday 5:30 kickoff. It's available on Sky Sports to watch this one. So Burnley ground out a 1-1 draw away at Wolves, and Wolves are a difficult team to go and get anything at the best of times. And they're sat quietly in 6th place in the Premier League. So not bad start for Sean Dyche and Burnley. Liverpool, though, are the only unbeaten team in the Premier League. They've 9 goals scored so far. They've only conceded 3. Although it's pretty much the same team as last year, they do look better to me. They had a poor pre-season, but Klopp's been very clever in bringing them all to the boil. And Mo Salah looked sharp, didn't he, last week against Arsenal. I'm afraid I'm going for, I'm afraid for Burnley, but I'm going for a 3-1 Liverpool win. I think it'll be an away win. So Burnley 1, Liverpool 3. On to the next match, and this one's a Sunday kick-off, Sunday matches now. So it's Everton v Wolves. It's a 2 p.m. kick-off on Sunday, and it's on Sky Sports. Everton lost away to Aston Villa 2-0 last weekend. Those are the only 2 goals they've conceded, so they've been quite miserly on the conceding. But they've got that problem in scoring. They've only scored 1 goal so far in 3 matches. Wolves, on the other hand, they've drawn all 3 of their matches, and they are also quite miserly. They've only conceded 2 goals at the back. But again, they've only scored 1 up front. So I can't see many goals in this, but knowing the way my predictions are going, anything's possible. I think it'll be a fairly evenly matched. I think it's got a 1-1 draw written all over it. So I'm going for Everton 1, Wolves 1. 1-1 draw on that one. On to the last match of the weekend, and it's Arsenal versus Spurs. It's a Sunday 4:30 kick-off. It's on Sky Sports. North London grudge match. Now, it's been pretty even the last 6 matches. Arsenal have won 2, Tottenham have won 3, and there's been 1 draw. Pretty evenly matched. There always seems to be some goals. Both defences not quite functioning. I think Hugo Lloris for Tottenham has made the most saves of any goalkeeper in the Premier League so far, I think with 13 this season. Arsenal, well, they've had their defensive problems last year. Again, David Luiz was brought in, and a couple of howlers really against Mo Salah last week. I think Mo Salah really made him look poor, but I do still think David Luiz is a good buy for Arsenal. I think they had to do something, so we'll see how he progresses, but I think it could be an interesting season for Arsenal with him. Obviously, Tottenham got that defeat at home to Newcastle. I expect a reaction from them. Arsenal obviously got that defeat away at Liverpool. I think there's going to be goals in this one, so I'm going for a 2-2 draw. So I'm going to go for Arsenal 2, Spurs 2. So there we go. That's all my predictions. I hope I do better than my 9 points in Matchweek 3. Please join along with yours. Like I say, I'll put the fixtures in the show notes. If you copy and paste them into the comments, just put your scores by them, and then we'll check those and we'll give a shout out to any winners last week. Obviously, if you like the videos, don't forget to subscribe, or there should be a subscribe button coming up here to the side. And thank you once again for watching.